Right. Hello! And we're going to take a look here at the UI for Imperator Rome because I noticed that I know myself when I'm streaming or recording, I don't talk about where things are in the UI. I just kind of play. And maybe I discover where something is while I'm playing, or I already know. So you, the viewer, unless you're really quick at catching, don't always know where I'm finding things. Real quick here on the menu, it is a little different in that you want to connect your Paradox Interactive account because this game is going to be cross-platform for multiplayer. So if you're interested in playing multiplayer with friends who are not on Steam, or maybe you're on the Paradox platform and they are on Steam, you'll be able to connect this way. Alright, otherwise we have our credits, which give thanks to all the amazing people that helped create this game. We have our settings, graphics. You have quite a few selections here to make sure that it fits your needs. Interface, you can do a lot of scaling. There's several languages. You can set up how your map looks a little bit. Audio, self-explanatory. Games, choose how often you autosave. And when the camera faces north. Alright, just saving close. There's multiplayer. It's interesting here because while there is a multiplayer tab here, you don't need to click here to go into multiplayer. I can go to my single player. There's continue, which goes to whatever your last played save file is. You can see I was playing my Greek YouTube series. You can do a new game. You can load a game, tutorial, or just go back. Alright. So we're gonna jump in with new game. Beautiful loading screens. It shows up here in the top right hand corner how the progress is. There's interesting quotes down below. Unlike in previous games where there's usually game tips, here we have interesting quotes. But here we are on the lobby screen. You'll notice that this is the single player lobby, but you can still open it for multiplayer. Make an offline game, a private game, a public game. If it's private, it pulls you directly into the game once you select a country, and then people that join select a country and they automatically hot join in. It's pretty cool. Alright. And then for public, it lets people join the lobby, select their countries, and choose where they're going to be before the host hits play and starts it all. And also auto accept. You can add passwords. If you host it, it goes over here. There we go. And it gives you your checksum, your server ID, so people can search for it that way. Any DLCs that are enabled, any mods that are enabled, so you can set it up for everyone. It's quite nice. But we're going to go back, and then I have to start a new game again since I was in the multiplayer setup. Alright. Yeah, Minty, I'm live, but I'm not really live. There's, what, 3 people? It's an unlisted link. It's really, I'm recording this and then I'm cutting the bits I want. Alright, and we're back here in the lobby. Here's where you get to select your country. The game does suggest countries that are of interest. The big ones: Rome, Egypt, Carthage, Macedon, Seleucids, and Phrygia. It also tells you which ones are the hardest. I can vouch that, yes, these are your easier games, as long as you don't spread too far too fast. These ones are more middle of the road, and these ones are rather hard. They're very unstable nations, unstable empires. You can watch them explode. Or you can be inside of them, playing as them as they explode, and try to hold everything together. Over here, you can select your difficulty. There is very easy. There's the modifiers. Easy. Normal. Hard. Very hard. You can set it for Iron Man mode, which enables achievements. You can set for mixed gender rules. This does not guarantee you mixed gender rules, but it gives you the option in game to select mixed gender rules. And you can also click on Observer. Warning, you click on that, it throws you into the game right away. You can't unclick it. So we'll look at that in a moment. You have your terrain map mode, which is what we're on right now, which is actually a mix compared to earlier Paradox games. And then you zoom in, you can see all the terrain, but you can still see the border, the colors, the borders, which makes it much easier. And as you zoom out, it becomes a full political map. Switch to political map. It's not much different, honestly. It's a little bit of shading difference at this angle. The real difference comes when you come in. Here we are on terrain, political. It's purely painted. The map is painted. There's still trees, though. It's quite pretty. And then this one is 4-player map mode. Notice it's very gray. There's just us. We're all alone. But let's say I clicked on Rome here. It shows me as Rome, Enigmatic Rose Force. And this is where you can see exactly what land you hold at the beginning of the game if you're by yourself. Because some countries it can be a little messier. You don't always 100% know what land you own. But that's how it works. And it just shows the country. If you're playing with many people, of course, you'll be able to see where everyone is and what they're doing. Nice thing is, though, is once you have a country selected, we'll click Rome, since this game is named Imperator Rome, not Imperator Carthage. Sorry, Carthage. Up here, you can see what size you are. You are a local power. This means you can join defensive leagues and have alliances, your effects, and then underneath in the gray, it shows you what the different sizes of nations are. These are important. Most places start as regional powers, local powers, major powers. I don't believe anyone starts as a great power. The only possibility would be Maria. Maria is a major power. No. And the Seleucids are a major power. Yes. No one starts as a great power, which is 500 cities or more. So. Those are important in that they give you different bonuses that you will see when you're in the game. You also get your traditions here. It tells you what your traditions are, what your special unlocks are. Raiding cities, building military roads, triplex. Those are different for all the different cultures. You see, like, Macedon has Greek traditions. We come up here to Menapia. They have barbarian traditions. We come over here to Maria. They have Indian traditions. They're all different. You see your government, your religion, your culture. Currently, religion and culture just have to do with if people are not of your religion or your culture in your empire, they're unhappy. That's basically the only effects they have right now, besides what traditions you get up here. You see your starting ruler, their age, their effects, what their skills are, which does affect how many of these different points you get in the game. You can see your cities, your pops, and it breaks down what kind of pops you have. Your citizens, your freemen, your tribesmen, and your slaves, and what your current diplomatic setup is. You have subjects as Rome. Well, if you click on Epirus over here, they have an alliance with them. And you notice that it nicely highlights it up on the map, which makes things easier. And you do notice, like, clicking up here in Icenia, they have a lot more tribesmen, no slaves, and very few freemen and citizens. Unlike a country, say, like these guys, the Nesiotic League. They have no tribesmen, a good number of slaves, and a good number of freemen and citizens. They're also a subject of Phrygia. But that's it. We're going to hop in observe mode and take a look at the regular UI. A fair warning, if I don't have a country selected in observe mode, it is a little overwhelming zooming in and seeing all the troops. Alright, we're going to go take a look at the UI here. We're still in observer mode. In observer mode, we can't see a single nation. We are going to control click onto Rome. And so we have our lovely SPQR flag. And then we're going to take a look at the UI. It tells us right here the game is paused. Like in most Paradox games, space unpauses it. The plus and the minus on your numpad do increase and decrease the speed. Makes it easy. It shows you right here what your speed is. We go down. Green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Makes it even more visible that you're on 5, which is rather nice. It gives you the date at the top, which is in the AUC years, 450. If you look underneath, though, if you hover over it, it gives you the current date with the calendars that we know at 304 BCE, which is nice. The game goes to about 30 BCE. So it's a rather short in some ways compared to like CK or EU. But if you compare it to like Vicky, it's not short. And I think it works right now. It works. Who knows what they'll do in the future? But that's what the length of the game is right now. Though it will apparently keep running after that point. Just, it's not set up to do that. It's not optimized to do that. And the nations don't quite know what to do with themselves. The AI nations, from what I've seen. I've done a couple time lapses. Alright, but we're going to take a look. So over here, you also have your menu, which in like most Paradox games, you can hit escape and it pulls it up, which is nice. Right underneath, there's your play, minus speed, plus speed, and right here is your outlier, which you can toggle off or toggle on. Outliers are nice. There's your controlled armies, controlled navies. You can set up what you want. Armies, controlled armies, automated armies, provincial armies, controlled navies, automated navies, combats, our sieges, hostile sieges on us, disloyal characters, unit construction. So you can decide what you really want over here. Because when you start getting a big nation, you can't exactly see everything. And there's even more. Buildings, active wars, active diplomacy, and human players. Like, if I was just observing this, I would probably just have human players and unclick anything else. But that's just me. There's our pause button. One thing to know is in most previous games, you know, we had Q, W, E. You notice it skips W right here. That's because you can move around the map with WASD. You can move around the map in WASD, which is interesting and nice after coming from Stellaris. It does throw one off a little bit going from this into CK2, which is nothing. But it is quite lovely. Right. We have our map modes, which we've taken a look at. Terrain, which is Q. Simple terrain, which is quite nice. You can see at a glance what areas are going to be terrible to fight through. Oh my god, look at that desert. Ooh, it's terrifying. Terrifying. So much attrition. So much death and destruction. Alright, and then we have our standard political map mode. Culture. You can see the culture groups are the same colors, and then it writes what type of culture it is. It is a big difference because if you are the same culture group, people are not as angry as they are if you are a different culture group. And there's these little pockets of Macedonian culture everywhere because of Alexander, and they tend to grow as the game goes on. Makes things interesting. We have our religion map mode, which again is color-coded like this. The only effect it currently has on the game is that people are not your religion. They're kind of unhappy. You might want to see about converting them. We have our provinces map mode. You can just see each unique province because each province is separated into states. This is not what I spend a lot of time looking at, but it is nice. You can see how the world chunks up into bits. It is rather interesting. Alright, and then we have trade goods. Trade goods, it's a little overwhelming at first. But the thing to do is, let's say you want to find where do people have iron in the map. So you find one place of iron, you click the iron, and you look around the map and it highlights all of the iron everywhere. Which is very nice. The dark is not maybe the best color. You click it again, you get a new one. Let's go see where they have wine. We need some wine. Ooh, look at all that wine. Surprisingly, or unsurprisingly I should say, there's not a lot of wine up here in Britain. But I do know some people grow wine up there. Same goes for Germany. Find a lot of wine down here though. And there's no wine in India. Very sad. Alright. With population map mode, it's by color coded, kind of like the technology map in CK2. The lighter the green, the more population. We take a look at Rome, 25 citizens, 15 freemen, 3 tribesmen, 4 slaves. It's a pretty great green. We come up here, this place, it's got 1 little tribesman. He's very happy though. He's a happy little tribesman living by himself. Alright. Next up, we have diplomacy. Of course, you click on your country, it shows you with color coding who are your allies. If you hover over, it tells you why these guys are paying tributes. Who is trading with you. If we go click over on Carthage, you can see the same thing. It is nice. It shows red when you're at war with someone. It makes life easy. Next map mode, we have barbarians, because barbarians can spawn in these impassable terrain areas, because there are people living there. And sometimes these people get kind of angry and hungry, and they come charging out of the wastelands to go attack their civilized neighbors. You can combat them by increasing the civilization in your area. Next up, we have our trade routes. Trade routes really only for your home country. It shows you where if you have provinces that are not using all of their trade routes. So since we only have one province right now as Rome, it doesn't do anything. But if we had two provinces and one of those provinces did not have a trade route, for example, let's see if I can switch to Carthage. Yes. See, Carthage, they have empty trade routes here. And so it lights up green. So you know where you need to go and assign some trade to help the lovely people there become better citizens. We have player map mode. Currently there's no player in the game, so it does nothing. But it is exactly like in the lobby. Fortifications. This is extremely nice when attacking. Blue are your forts. Yellow are the not hostile forts. Red are hostile forts. And they show you the zone of control they have, which is very nice. Well, we can't see any, but if we click, let's click on these guys. Where are these lovely guys? There we go. You see that their zone of control extends. Well, it doesn't show that it extends over there, but if you went to war, if these guys started a war, whoops, there you go. If these guys started a war, then it would show the blue lines all the way across the border here, because forts have zone of control everywhere. Next up, region. Just showing regions. Oops, there we go. Italia, Magna Graecia. These are useful. They're nice. Semi-helpful. Supply map mode. Where do you want to stack a lot of troops? You go stacking a lot of troops on this little city, they're not going to do well. They're going to die. Because there just isn't enough food to support them. Next up, civilization. Again, lighter green is better. Red are very uncivilized places. The more civilized the place is, the unhappier tribesmen are, and the happier citizens and freemen are. Slaves. Well, slaves can be unhappy or happy either place. Opinion. It's for your country. What do people think of you? These guys love you because they're your dependents. Everyone else is ambivalent. No one hates you yet. Unrest and loyalty. Where, if anywhere, are people causing problems? That's really all it shows. There we go. And it even shows you the loyalty of the provinces when you zoom in and who is the governor here. Which is pretty nice. See, there's the governor, and he's only got so-so loyalty, 75. Could be worse. Could be better. It is rather helpful. And that's the last map mode. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Alright, let's take a look at the top of the UI now. So up here at the top you have your flag. It says we are observing Carthage because we are in observer mode. We have our treasury. Carthage is losing money. You hover over it, it tells you where all your money is going. This is just a simple way for you to see. There is another economy tab we will look at in a moment. There's your manpower. You need manpower to build troops and to reinforce your troops when they get injured. If you have no manpower, you're in trouble. It tells you how many you're getting from your pops, from your subjects, how many you're gaining, and how many you're losing each month, which is nice. Here are your 4 powers. You have military power, civic power, oratory power, and religious power. Military power is used for your military ideas. Military power is also used if you click on your troops. Those are boats. You can raid ports. If you take that tradition, that costs military power. If we go click on an army, hello army. You want to build roads, that costs military power. You want to desecrate holy sites, that costs military power. You want to reorganize your troops and help them recover faster after a bad defeat, that costs military power. Military power is your currency for your military. Next we have civic power. Civic power is your currency for running your nation to a degree. Civic power allows you to unlock inventions here, which we'll talk about in a bit. It takes 100. It can go up in cost depending upon your aggressive expansion and the corruption of your ruler. Civic power is also used for moving pops. If you click here, if you want to move a slave somewhere, it costs you 5 civic power. Moving freemen costs 20. Slaves are the cheapest people to move around because they don't get to tell you no. Everybody else gets to tell you no, so they cost more civic power. We also have oratory power. Oratory power is used for getting claims. If you want to fabricate a claim on someone, you need 200 oratory power as a base. It can go up or down depending on your corruption, depending on your inventions, your tech, things like that. Oratory power is also used for your ideas. Nation overview. You have 3 ideas, 2, 3, or 4 ideas depending on the size of your nation. You want to match up your ideas so that you actually gain a bonus to your point production. So a civic idea, you want to match it up with a civic idea. Same with the oratory. If you want to change these over time, you can do through a decision which changes your government type. These are based on the type of monarchy or the type of republic you have. We're an oligarchic republic. So we have 1 civic and 2 oratory. You also use oratory power for culturally converting or promoting your pops individually. We'll look at that later. Civic or religious power is used for manually converting your pops to your religion, or it's also used to getting yourself some stability, which is shown here. It works a lot like in EU4. Your ruler dies, you lose stability. You have some bad events happen, you lose stability. You have some good events happen, you gain stability. But most of the time you're going to be doing this yourself and giving yourself a stab point. Religious power is also used for omens. Omens give a temporary boost. Lasts for 1,825 days. You can take inventions that will give you longer, and it's quite nice. You get discipline, aggressive expansion change, national manpower, commerce, research points, and rest, national tax, or pop growth. All of these can be good in different situations. Some are more useful than others depending on where you're playing and who you're playing. And you can actually take inventions and tech that will make the bonuses better. I believe in like Tech 12, where we are with the number of inventions, our aggressive expansion change is like a minus 0.07, I think, in the Syracuse to Sicily game on Twitch. So yeah, it does get much better. Here it's a 0.4. So that's your religious power. Here is your stability, which we looked at there. You hover over it, it tells you what your current bonuses are. Of course, each stab that you take, each stability, increases the cost. And then next up we have your aggressive expansion. You get aggressive expansion by taking land in war. You can also get aggressive expansion if you are doing things like you are Sparta and you have taken the military raiding ports. When you go and enslave people, you get aggressive expansion from it. It causes bad things to happen in your nation. The worst thing is that people that are not your culture get very unhappy with you. Very, very unhappy with you. And over 50, if you get over 50 aggressive expansion, you get even more malices. Apparently it goes up to 200. Really don't want to think how many bad things are going to happen if you hit to 200. And And then next up we have tyranny. You gain tyranny by being a tyrant. Locking up people, flogging people, executing people. You know, doing all sorts of things that are not very nice. Oh, there's your son. Try to imprison your son. He's your only heir. That's actually not a good one. Here we go. If we want to imprison him, you see we lose 1 stability and we gain 4 tyranny. Tyranny will lower your... It lowers a lot of people's happiness with you. It lowers your popularity over time. All sorts of things. But it also makes it much cheaper to imprison people. You don't have to pay 100 oratory power. It costs less oratory power. And the slaves work harder because they're terrified of you. So, you know, there's pluses and minuses to tyranny. But that's tyranny. And also up here, we'll take a look at these buttons in a moment. You have your flags, very much like an EU, CK, HOI. They tell you, hey, hey, look at me. Red are very important and bad. You have a disloyal character. He's kind of mad at you. Because he's a pretender. Oh, dear. You have yellow. These are like, hey, guys, I think you should take a look. Guess what? You have a trade route. You don't have anyone commanding your troops, which means your morale of armies is minus 25%. That's pretty darn bad. That will get your troops slaughtered on the field. And scorned families. This family doesn't have a job. He thinks he deserves a job. Do you think he deserves a job? Don't know. But he obviously thinks he deserves a job and he deserves some income. Look at me, I need money. You have pretender supports. All of these people are not supporting your little baby boy because, you know, he's 1 year old. They don't want to put a 1-year-old on the throne. Hey, your ruler's unmarried. You might want to deal with that. If you open this to arrange marriage, you can sort by title, you can sort by martial skill, finesse, charisma, zeal, prominence, popularity, loyalty, corruption, health, age, wealth, and then traits. It is probably the most common one for marriage is when you are playing a man that you will be selecting one of the youngest ladies to marry. Because then she'll have more chance to give you heirs. But we can't quite actually do that because we're in observer mode. But that's what you want to do. Others, green ones are, hey, this is kind of important. It's good, though. You get to pick inventions. You have enough civic power actually to pick 2 inventions. Read through them. The thing about inventions is as you pick them, well, as you research new tech, you get new inventions that bury the old inventions that you have not selected. Alright, and then the last one here is Omen. Hey, guess what? You can pick an Omen. That's that. Next would be the macro builder over here, which works a bit like the one in EU4, except it is a little more simplified. There's not as much stuff going on it. So the top one is your building buildings. It tells you the cost, it tells you what you can build. You can build marketplaces, which give you tax, commerce income, and civilization level. Training camps, which give you more manpower. Fortresses, which give you fort levels. Every fort level requires 5k troops minimum to siege. So if you can get a level 6 fort, someone's going to need over 30k troops to siege that down, and that is a lot of attrition. Granaries give you pop growth and slave happiness. This is how you can also recruit your different cohorts. I almost said cahoots. Your cohorts, your cahoots, whatever you want to call them. There's the base cost. Boats and elephants obviously cost a lot more than light infantry. Hovering over them tells you what they're good against fighting, or here, I'll go slower. What they're good at fighting, what they're bad at fighting, how their speed is, their maneuvering, what their extra attrition weight is. Like you see, heavy infantry here is plus 50% attrition. The other one that has heavy attrition would be the elephants, plus 200% attrition. While on the opposite side, the light infantry is minus 50% attrition. That's important for sieges. If you don't believe me, go look at dividing the spoils and Egypt trying to attack and siege down Rome with elephants. Attrition is important. And there's triremes. Triremes can only fight triremes. Next, you're promoting pops. You can't promote citizens. They don't have anywhere to go. They're already at the top of the totem pole. Tribesmen. They promote to freemen if you have any tribesmen. Slaves can promote to freemen. Freemen promote to citizens. They tell you what bonus they give. The thing about that is doing it this way costs you 10 oratory power every single pop. When you only make 5 a month. It can get expensive. Converting is the same thing, except you can convert any pops, even citizens. It costs you 20 religious power. You're only making 4 a month. Assimilating pops, changing their culture. It costs 20 pop. You only make 5 a month. Last one is import trade goods. You can see where and who has what. Who has wood? Who has elephants to trade? Nobody has elephants to trade. There are elephants, you can see them here, but no one has them to trade. It's very sad, because we all love elephants. But that is your macro builder. And next we'll take a look at our lovely little buttons up here and what each one does. Alright, first off we're going to take a look at our nation overview, which is F1. Here is your nation. We are Sparta. This is Sparta. There's your nation name. If you hover over here, it tells you what size you are. You are a local power. Local powers are 2 to 24 cities. If we switch over to the Seleucids, can I be Count Christo for a moment? If you hover over, it says a major power. You can also see that it changes your flag size. Look at that. We click on the little tiny city-states. There's a flag. City-states are only 1. It's quite nice. Quite nice. Alright, but back to Sparta. Alright. There's your ruler. You can click on him. You can go to his character page. It shows you your country civilization level. This is your average civilization level across your entire country. How many cities you have, how many pops you have in the city. If you hover over it, it tells you what they are. We have 59 Hellenic Peloponnesians and 4 Jewish Hebrews. It also tells you how much aggressive expansion you have and any bonuses you have. We are a stratocratic monarchy, which gives country civilization level plus 30%. There's your military ideas we talked about already. Or because we're a stratocratic monarchy, he gets 2 military ideas and 1 oratory. I'm just going to hover over these for a moment if anyone wants to pause and look. Since I am trying to get this up before anyone is curious. The second, each one has a level. The second and the third ones unlock at Tech 6 and Tech 12. So far I found that the first level ones do pretty well. The wrong culture group happiness plus 15% can get pretty important when you do a lot of conquering later on. That is something to remember. And religious ideas. It all depends on what you want to do, and sometimes it may be worth it to take an idea that doesn't match up with your government form. It doesn't give you extra points, but it could be very useful. Here it tells you you get no bonus. Your bonus isn't active. You do not get this monthly loyalty national freeman outfit and 1 point extra because do not have all of these matched up. So that's important. Here it tells you how popular your ruler is, what his legitimacy and tyranny, pluses and minuses are, what his current corruption level is. There is the culture distribution. It's pretty homogeneous. Some Hebrews, but that's it. Same for religion, except for a few Jewish people. Pop type. It's actually fairly equal here between freemen, citizens, and slaves. If we go and click on this guy, it's not... Whoop. Come on. Yeah, there we go. It's not quite so equal, and he's got tribesmen too. Back to Sparta. It also shows you your risk of civil war and your risk of rebellion. These can be very important to pay attention to. down here, it lists your provinces. We only have one province. There's the governor, who is the ruler. Matches up. That's what the little gold coin is. What his current policy is. These are a number of different policies. All have pluses and minuses. Changing them for anyone but yourself costs civic power. Or sorry, oratory power. Which is very annoying when you conquer somebody or you put someone there and they're bleeding them dry. So it kind of is important to pay attention to what your traits of your governors are. And then in that province, it tells you how many of each type of pop there are, if they're using their trade route, and what their loyalty is. You can tell this is different when I click on the Seleucids. And we go here. They have a lot of provinces that are doing many different things. Have many different types of pops. Some have trade routes, some don't. Some are loyal, some aren't. Some are going up in loyalty, and some are going down in loyalty. You can sort them by how loyal they are. They're all at 100% at the beginning of the game. You can sort them by their trade routes. You can sort them by how many citizens. You can sort them by anything. Quite interesting. And useful. Alright, so back to Sparta. Next is your government. This is a very important one. These are your jobs. These are your people in your government. This is their level of skill. This is what their impact is on your government. Aggressive expansion. Sacrifice the gods cost. Mercenary maintenance. Morale of armies. Omen power. Monthly legitimacy. National tax. And health. Because he is your doctor. These are important. You want to match people up with their highest points. So if we're picking here, we really don't want to put the person who's only got 2 zeal in this job. They're not going to do a very good job. There is your ruler. Here is the current heir. Here is their succession support. And why they have that much support. He is a direct son of the heir. This is a monarchy, so he gets the most support. There he is. And there are the pretenders, who are the brothers, typically, or other members of the family. Or in this case, they are each heads of other families, because this family does not have a lot of people. Yes, so here's the head of the family. There's his son. There's someone else in the Aegeid family. And then there are people of other heads of other families. Here is your legitimacy, or your ruler's legitimacy to the throne. If it's going down or up. The next ruler's legitimacy, which is always less than the current one, depending on how much support there is for other pretenders. This pretender has a lot of support, so the next kid, a lot of people will not believe he deserves to be in charge. You can increase your legitimacy if it's actually not at 100%. Because of your legitimacy, here's the effects: the max loyalty, the primary heir attraction, and the national freeman happiness. From this tab, you can also see the laws. There's succession laws. They're very much like CK2, except you do have familial marriage. Think Zoroastrian in CK2. Maritime laws. We have taxation laws. These laws do cost oratory power to change. They all have pluses and minuses. Some of these are required. If you are a tribe and you want to become a republic or a monarchy, there are certain requirements that you have to meet. And some of those requirements do require changing the laws in your tribal nation. So, that's it. There we go. And next up would be military. We did look at this one. Here's your traditions. It tells you right here we have modernized phalanx. We can use phalanx tactics. If we go take a look up here at Atorba, they have chariot culture. They can allow chariot units. No one down here can build chariots. What is their special, unique units? They have horse archer cost of limited. Tends to go by culture. So culture does have an impact, just not what we are used to. It tells you the cost, why it costs that much, and you have all the different routes you can take. They are different for every type of tradition. Persian traditions, Greek traditions, barbarian traditions, North African traditions. Those ones are Greek. Levantine and Arabian traditions. There's numbers of them, and they're all different. And they all have different bonuses. That one's good for fighting in the desert, which is pretty cool. You can also show your stats. How good they are, how bad they are, what bonuses you have for each type. If we go look at Rome, Rome starts with a bonus to heavy infantry discipline, which is pretty nice. It helps them crush their enemies very early on. Alright. But you can keep track of this through the game. It's pretty good. Alright. Next up is your technology. There are your current research points. There's your research efficiency, which is based on how many citizens you have compared to other types of pops in your nation. There's your monthly research. And here are your 4 researchers. It's rather like Stellaris in that each researcher, dependent upon his skill level, will add a bonus to the research speed. So like this guy has 10 martial ability. He's getting this up to 100%. This guy only has 9 civic skill, so it's 90%. It's a bonus like that. Basically, the higher the skill in that area means the better they are at research. This guy's only got a 7 in zeal. He's not very good at researching it, but he tries. He really does try. Here are your inventions. They have a cost. There are 3 inventions for each level of tech. If you hover over here, it tells you down there at the bottom. If you unlock this tech, then you unlock the Supernumerary, Extraordinary Ordnance, and Fusturium, which give heavy infantry discipline, siege ability, and supply limits. So as soon as this tech is complete, these 3, if you have not taken them, will get buried under the 3 new inventions. If you select one of these 3 new inventions, then you will see one of these older inventions underneath. Something to keep in mind, especially when you have a high tech rate, you will not be able to gather all of your inventions because they will be buried. You have to pick and choose which ones suit your nation and your needs. Next up, we have religion. We talked about this one already, out of order a bit, but we also show here national unrest, your religious unity. There's 7 pops that are not Hellenic in Rome out of a population of 394. You also have Invoke Devotio, which means when your war exhaustion starts to creep up so high, you can spend some religious zeal and do a sacrifice and reduce it by 2. Keep that war going. Because there's the current change. It's not going anywhere. There's your omen power, which can, of course, be changed by inventions. And your religious tech. There's the omen duration. Right now, there's no change to it, so it is 1,825 days. You can make it go up quite a bit from there. And there's the cost. And why is that cost? Next up, we have our economy, which is more detailed than this. That's the income you are making every month right now. Like, that is your take home. That is the money that's going into the bank. Over here are your taxes. Where do they come from? Who gives the most taxes? What's your percentage boost to them? Why? You can lower them. You can raise them. Beware raising them hurts your research quite a bit. Commerce. Lower. Raise. What bonuses? Tributaries who are paying you cash. Because there's 2 types of tributaries. There's the ones that fight for you and the ones that pay you money. The ones that pay you money would go here. So, you can do that. There's your expenses. Army maintenance, they tell you how much each army is costing. What is affecting the cost. Of course, if you increase their maintenance, they fight better for you. So that can help in a tight battle. Same for fleets. And if you're paying tributes, so if you are at the other end of the field, this is how much money you're losing to paying tributes. Fort maintenance. Higher fort maintenance. Increase the garrison size, the fort defense. Helps hold off the barbarians a little longer. Wages. Everybody in your government takes a little bit of money. If you pay them more, they get loyal to you. If you pay them less, they lose loyalty. You can also convert currency into points, but as you can see, the exchange rate isn't the best, and it only gets worse the higher your income is. So it's kind of a desperate measure. Kind of is a desperate measure. Alright, next up is diplomacy. This one's fun. Most of this is what we looked at before. This is... So, we are Rome. This is what your home screen is for you. We love ourselves. Rome is our own country. Yay! What is our tech level? 0. Our loyalty, risk of civil war, risk of rebellion, our points. Currency, what our stance is. Your stance can be changed over here. Neutral gives you a relation. Aggressive expansion decay, if you're trying to make everyone happy, appeasing. You're trying to make money. You're trying to fight everybody in the world. And you're trying to integrate subject states. Doesn't matter what we pick, because we're in observer mode. Your manpower, cohorts, ships, stability, number of cities, number of pops. Your personal aggressive expansion, your diplomatic reputation, your diplomatic range, your approve opinion maximum, how far can you make people like you, monthly aggressive expansion, and up here is your diplomatic relations. We can have 2 diplomatic relations because we are a local power. We can make 2 people our friends, and that's it. Anytime you click on your flag, it will take you to your home country, and it'll take you back to this. You can also search who are your neighbors. What do they think of you? Let's go look at Frentania. You can also right-click anyone on the map. Here's what Frentania thinks. There are their thoughts. It's very much like EU4. Here's what we can do. We are a republic, so the Senate cares. Alliance options. Access actions. Influence. They are a feudatory state. They fight for us, but we can integrate them. All sorts of things. You can sell them cities. So you can help your feudatories grow if you want them to. You can get a claim on them to fight. Make them like you more. Make them hate you more. And there's your opinion. There is their opinion of you and your opinion of them. That changes certain interactions. Same goes for loyalty. It's it's very much like EU4 here. It also tells you what they are. They are a settled tribe. But if we click on our flag, we are an aristocratic republic. Next up, trade overview. How much commerce income? How many trade routes? How many province import routes? What are you getting an export bonus from at the moment? Because we're currently exporting cloth, so we get a bonus to research. Capital surplus. What do we have extra of? We could trade, but as long as we keep a surplus, we have more maintenance. We have lower maintenance costs, more infantry discipline, and more national manpower. We can allow trading always surplus or not. You can turn that on or off if you're playing. Characters. Here's all the people. Right now it is organized by families, which makes it a little easy. Since we're a republic, you can see which of the Senate. We did not look at that. Here's the Senate. The different groups. Who are you supporting, endorsing? What do they think? You basically have to play and keep them happy. Think of it a bit like the Council in Crusader Kings 2. Whichever one you're supporting will get more support, and when this guy dies, one of these 5 guys will whoever replaces him, one of these guys will take the throne and lead the government. But back here, you can also sort by characters like we did before when looking for a wife. You can see who you got. You can sort them by who's imprisoned. We have no people in prison. You can sort by gender. You can sort by if they're employed or not. If they're part of our family. Things like that. Last one is mercenaries. You can see all the mercenaries around, where they are. If you highlight, you can see it highlights where they are, like the ones in Rome. There they are. You can also, if you want to, just click on them on the map, and it tells you you need as much money. So you need 120 times 2 to hire these guys, because you buy them for 120 and you get rid of them for 120. You also have to pay them a monthly salary of 9.79 ducats. They get rather expensive. You can see mercenaries all over the map, though many are, too far away. We can see these guys down here. We can't actually hire them, though. And it does sort them by how close they are to you. So I think that's everything in the UI. Except for this. This is your score up here. Hovers over you. It has to do with your population, and there's a divider deciding where you're starting. And it lists where you are right now in the map. Or in the score. List the top 10. Except in multiplayer, it will list enough to have all of the players in the score list. And one more thing with character interactions. If you come here, since this is a republic, you can appoint dictators. And if he wants to get married, he will choose a wife himself. But if we are playing as a monarchy, like Sparta over here, you can arrange a marriage for yourself and get yourself married like we looked at. You can also get your children married when they turn 16. You can get your siblings married, but you cannot get anyone else married. So, same goes for tribes. If we click on a tribe, tribes also, instead of pretenders, they have their clan chiefs here. And it shows you how loyal they are to you. So when she dies, one of her clan chiefs will take over. And then someone else in her family, if she has a kid, will rise up and take over it. The new tribe. So that gets passed between the tribes. You don't play as a family. Another thing with tribes, oops. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this one. Is their centralization level. These guys are fairly well centralized, so they are a settled tribe. If we go and click on Bastrania over here, they have minus 50% centralization. They are a migratory tribe. They can stand up and walk away. Alright. I did forget to show one button up here because it is very important and very different depending where you are. It is your decisions tab. If you're a migratory tribe, your only decision is to form a tribal kingdom. You settle down and become a settled tribe, which helps you become more civilized and all sorts of things. You get, instead of getting 2 military ideas, you get yourself an oratory and a military idea. And it's different for everybody. If we go look at Rome, oops, Rome's decisions, they can change and become a different type of republic. They can proclaim a dictatorship. Start working towards being that empire. You can expand the Campus Martius. More manpower, everything. It requires you to have martial advances of 3 and then greater than 250 gold. Establish the Temple of Jupiter. Requires 350 gold. Religious advances of greater than 5. If you hover over here, it tells you what you need. These are all internalized. There's other ones that are different. Like anyone that watches Fighting the Spoils, something with Syracuse. We became Sicily. That was a decision here. Because Syracuse, if... Oops, there you go. You see those bright green cities down there on the map. If Syracuse controls these, then they can form Sicily. And if they form Sicily with those cities, then they can get a casus belli on everybody there. They also get bonuses till the end of the game. They get free pops that just appear. It's quite nice. They can also go and form Magna Graecia, which I have also done on stream, which requires those provinces that you see here. And if you've gone far enough from there, let's take a look at Macedon. Oops. You can reunite Alexander's empire, which are these little green provinces everywhere. There, there, there. It's quite a chore to collect them all, especially over here. As we looked at before, there's a lot of desert through there. You can also do imperial ambitions. If you reach 600 cities and your popularity is greater than 90, you can become an empire, which gives you extra idea groups, one of every kind. It's quite nice. And you can always change to a different type of monarchy, which gives you different ideas, like 2 civic, 1 religious, 2 military, 1 oratory, 2 religious, when currently they have 1 military and 2 oratory. So that's nice. And you can do that with the republics as well. A little different for tribes. Tribes with their decisions, they can abandon their sedentary lifestyle, so the opposite of the migratory tribe we looked at, and they have to have their centralization down fairly low. Less than 25. Less than minus 25, sorry. They have to keep really low centralization. They also have to embrace you can also embrace autocracy, which is where they become a monarch. You have to have tech, you have to have laws changed, and you have to have good city civilization level of 50 or higher. The same goes for embracing democracy, except it's different laws, different tech. Different tech? Different tech. Yep. There's other decisions, like some countries have decisions to form other countries. You can't actually see them, though, until you get a certain amounts. That's interesting, though, because these guys get a decision to form another country here, or they can aim for Gaul. There we go. And unites Helvetia right through there. There we go. Which gets them all sorts of bonuses. So these are kind of like goals or missions you can aim for. Some of the famous ones, they don't show it here. That's interesting. Usually they're here. But you can form Britannia, you can colonize Ireland as well and form Albion. There is an achievement to create Albion within 50 years, which means conquering all of this and colonizing all of this in 40 years. But I think that just about covers everything. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know, subscribe to the channel, and help it grow. Bye, y'all.